Season 12 has brought with it a number of new incredible skins, but it's also brought us some clunkers, so the question must be asked, which skins of 2022 were the worst? Now I've done breakdowns of every single skin that has gone on the PBE since patch 12.9, so I haven't hit every single skin that has gone on sale in Season 12. Today I'm going to go through all of the skins that I think are clunkers that did not work, and if you bought these in 2022, well, maybe look to get a refund, because I'm sorry, these skins did not impress me. Before I get to my top, or more accurately bottom 10, I do have a few honorable mentions. These are skins that were bad but didn't quite make the list. In no particular order, we have Elderwood Gnar, Imperium Vex, High Noon Varus, Ocean Song Nidalee, and the recently added Winter Blessed Zoe. These skins were all pretty bad in my opinion, but they weren't bad enough to make the list of the 10 worst skins of 2022. And the 10th worst skin of 2022 was Lunar Guardian Khazix. When this first dropped on PBE, I talked about how it was very similar to Championship Khazix, and that really kind of stuck in my mind. And I feel a little bit bad ranking it this low, considering the skin looks fine otherwise. I'm just really disappointed by the fact that Khazix only gets a new skin probably once a year, and this year we basically got a retread of a skin he already has. It's not even that nice of a skin, it's very uninspired. For that reason, I'm going to put it in the bottom 10 in the 10th spot. Next up, we have Zenith Games Lee Sin. Now, you all know how I felt about the Zenith Games skin when they dropped. I was not a fan, and Lee Sin's skin was easily the worst of the bunch. I made the joke that he looks like Protozoa from the Xenon movies. Absolutely still holds true. It just looks goofy and dumb for Lee Sin. It is different, I'll at least give it that. That's why it's not rated lower. But Zenith Games Lee Sin is just an unimpressive skin. It is the 9th worst skin of 2022. In 8th place, we actually have a skin I did not cover, and that is Admiral Renata. This is her release skin, and there's not really much to say about this other than I'm just disappointed. Like, this isn't coming along with a skin line that exists. It's very generic and very basic. And I feel like we're at the point where even released skins should be at least decent quality for new champions. Renata is definitely going to need some more skins in the new year to help add to her collection, because what she has already is quite disappointing. The next skin on the worst skins of 2022 list is Solar Eclipse Kale. Now this one is going to be a little bit controversial to some people. I personally just do not like how this skin looks. The animations and effects look really clunky. This sort of feels just like an upgrade of Kale's base skin, but also not really. It's not very unique or distinct from the base skin. Just overall, I feel like there's a lot that they could have done with the Solar Eclipse line without giving one to Kale. It's a little bit too on the nose and just doesn't really work for me. The 6th worst skin of 2022 is actually a skin from the previous championship line. That's right, it's an EDG Zoe. A rough year for Zoe mains, as 2 of her skins are among my least favorite for this year, but unfortunately for Scout, he just didn't get served justice by this EDG skin. Some of the other skins have a lot more personality to them. This one just really doesn't. It's not terrible looking, but it just is so bland and uninteresting. It really just does a disservice to these great players who won a championship. I really was expecting more for Riot. That's why it's in the bottom 10 at the 6th worst spot. The 5th worst skin of 2022 is Imperium Zac. Now, if you watch my breakdown of the Imperium skins when those dropped, you know that I had some very mixed feelings. Some of them I really liked, others I really hated, and Zac was one that I really hated. It's very hard to discern what his abilities are doing with this skin, and it honestly just looks like he's a bubble that's come off an oil spill. It's so haphazard with all the color combinations. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't make sense. I get that they wanted to go for the groovy interdimensional sort of theme for this skin line. I just don't think it works for Zac, and it doesn't work for several other skins that are in this line. And in fact, one of those skins I hate is number 4 on this list, and that is Imperium Gin. Just like with Lunar Guardian Khazix, my big problem with this skin is it looks a lot like a skin that we already have, in this case being Dark Star Gin. Now, I think that this one is an upgrade to Dark Star Gin, but honestly most Gin mains already probably have Dark Star, so what is the incentive for them to buy Imperium Gin? Even though it has like a little bit more color to it, it just is not unique enough and not distinct enough to justify a spot in a skin line that I've said is really up and down. But we'll take a step away from the interdimensional travel of the Imperium skins for my number 3 skin, which is Arcana Rise. Now, this is a skin I didn't cover, but honestly, looking at this skin, it looks so fucking ugly. The red and orange color schemes just do not work for Rise or his abilities. If you showed me this model and told me this was a Lee Sin skin, I would believe it. It's very, very hard for me to recognize that that is Rise, which is a big no-no for me when it comes to skins for champions. If you can't distinguish them from other champions very easily, that's a big red flag. And on top of that, the effects and abilities, the recall animation, none of it is good enough to justify this confusion. I really wish that they had made this more distinct because there is a chance it would have worked, but he just does not look good in this color scheme. I'm sorry. We move next to the second worst skin of 2023, and this should come as no surprise to anybody. It's Monster Tamer Vigar, and the reason that I have this so low is not because the skin is one of the ugliest of the years. It's the fact that this skin could have and should have been so much better. Vigar is tailor-made for a Pokemon style skin, but that's not what we were promised. We were promised a Monster Tamer skin, and if it had been the case where maybe there was a trainer and Vigar was the little monster, or he was the trainer of a little monster, I think this would work beautifully. The other big problem is that compared to the other Monster Tamer skins, Lulu and Tristana, which actually looked really good, Vigar's just looks so basic and clunky. It's just unappealing and unimaginative in every sense of the way. And again, the big issue I have is that it had so much potential. It could have been so good. I'm really disappointed in this skin line, and I'm really disappointed in this Vigar skin.
I think it sucks.
But none of these skins compare to the worst skin of 2022, in my opinion, which is Imperium Lux. I fucking despise this skin. It is so ugly, and the abilities are so hard to see. It is just an abomination. Lux luckily already has a lot of really good skins, so the Lux mains out there aren't getting gypped out of a good skin and not having many others in her collection. But this skin is just an affront to the eyes. It is awful. I don't know who saw this skin and thought it was worth putting on the shop. For 1350 RP, that's not a lot of RP, but for this skin, that is robbing you blind. This skin is awful. Burn it in a fire. I hate it. It is, in my opinion, the worst skin of 2021. But that's my opinion. What do you guys think? What is your least favorite skin of 2022? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and I'll catch you later, knuckleheads. Peace.